In the years before refrigeration, people generally depended on ice, snow, and other cool areas to preserve food that had to be grown locally. They would also use salt to dry out their meat in order to keep it edible for long periods of time. As people started wondering if there were alternative methods of preserving food, the first version of the refrigerator was created. This model was called the icebox, and it was an appliance made of wood with an interior lined with tin, cork, or zinc and filled with ice. Many used sawdust or seaweed to help keep their blocks of ice cooler longer. They placed a tray under the ice, and it would eventually melt and drip down. This tray had to be frequently emptied. However, as technology increased, we found that new isn't always better. Refrigerators are made of around 60% metal, the bulk of the weight coming from iron and steel. In fact, the average refrigerator contains 123 pounds of steel, according to estimates of the Appliance Recycling Information Institute. The metal wraps around the outside and is a main component in the base structure. About 40% of a refrigerator is made of plastic. The average fridge is made up of about 20 pounds of plastic, going into the separate appliances within the fridge and in any other form needed. The introduction of polyurethane foam has made modern fridges 60% more efficient than those manufactured just 15 years ago. But with new ways of manufacturing comes new ways of ruining the environment. Since the very beginning, there have been complications with refrigerators, and they turn out to negatively affect users and the environment. People were drawn to the idea of being able to keep food fresh for longer periods of time. However, as the industry increased the amount of ice used to keep the food cool, the supply was not large enough for the demand. They had to take water from any source available, even if it wasn't clean. By the 1890s, natural ice became a problem because of pollution and sewage dumping. This turned into a health risk, into which refrigeration technology provided the solution. Ice mechanically manufactured, giving birth to the mechanical refrigeration. With mechanical refrigeration also comes drawbacks in the form of harmful greenhouse gases. Disposing of your unused refrigerator or freezer unit improperly can have many negative side effects on the environment. A product in the refrigerator used as a blowing agent provides a toxic gas that floats up into the atmosphere and breaks down the ozone layer. It is used to whip foam into a frothy-like milkshake mix and moves it into the doors and walls of their machines, where it eventually hardens. About 90% of refrigerators are recycled, but that does not usually include processing the foam. In the recycling process, only some parts of the refrigerator are recycled. Some places have ways to reduce the plastic and glass, but these materials are difficult to find a market for, so they often end up in the trash. The insulation probably also goes in the trash, which is somewhat controversial. The foam inside refrigerators contains CFCs, the ozone-depleting gas now banned from refrigeration units. If the foam gets crushed or broken, it releases those CFCs. However, since there are very few ways to recycle the foam, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency allows recycling companies to put it in the trash without penalty. If you can choose which recycling company gets your appliance when you are ready to dispose of it, you might want to ask if they have a way to recycle foam. If these units are left to rot in landfills, they can also contribute a dangerous amount of carbon dioxide to the earth as the foam insulation begins to degrade.